Hey makers! For today's video we're going to be doing a demo of the laser cutter that we have in the creation station. This is a full spectrum laser. It cuts through wood and acrylic. It can etch on metal and glass. So I'm going to be demonstrating how the laser cutter works, how to get a file going on the laser cutter, and what the laser cutter can do. So the main program that we use to operate our laser is actually called CorelDRAW. We have this program in the creation station, but there are other free vector programs that you can use. CorelDRAW is not free, so if you have access to InDesign, we also recommend Inkscape. But this program works. It's basically an art program. You draw whatever lines you want, and you can put text in, and the laser cutter will take the lines and shapes that you put in here and draw them all out. You want to make sure that the lines that you're drawing are the hairline line that CorelDRAW will use. If you're using a different program, it won't let you change the line width. So any program that you use, you'll have to open it up in CorelDRAW later. We'll also be changing the colors in order to use different settings for different parts of the piece, and I'll show you how that works in a minute. But first let me play around with this a bit just to get something that can be visible. So I've made this circle here red because I want to vector cut that. That means I'm going to cut it out of whatever I'm using. The little rectangle inside is blue because that's going to vector etch on top. And the text is black because that is going to raster engrave on top. Now, vector basically just means lines and shapes like that. It'll actually follow the direction of that line, whereas the raster is usually meant for images. And when the laser raster cuts something, it does it kind of like how an ink printer does, by going back and forth line by line, pixel by pixel. We'll see some examples of what the laser looks like when it's doing a vector cut, as well as a raster engrave later. Now, of course, I use text, but you can also use an image here. So I've got this image I'm going to put in. It's going to take me a little bit to get this small enough to fit. I can raster engrave the text, but I can also raster engrave the image. However, this isn't black and white. You want your images to be black and white so that the black color is what the laser is seeing. So I'm going to edit this and turn off the saturation. There's a couple different ways of doing that. CorelDRAW has this editing program right in it. However, if you've got black and white images, those are preferred. Or if you have a way of taking an image and turning it black and white on your own before you even bring it into the creation station, you could do that too. So now that it's black and white, I'm going to save that and just open it back into the main CorelDRAW program. Yep, it's right there. And so now this will raster engrave, the same as the text. It'll just go back and forth line by line, engraving the image onto the top of whatever the piece I'm going to cut is. So if I were to cut this out, it would end up giving me this circle object with the Pikachu and the Pikachu text engraved in the middle of it. So I'm going to go over, and I'm actually not going to cut out the Pikachu because I don't have any use for that. I'm going to make another object here. It's going to be a little hard to see, but it's a heart that I've got on the right screen there. I've got to make sure that the line width is correct and that the heart is red so that it'll actually cut out of my plastic. The first demo I'm going to be doing is out of plastic. We do a lot of plastic cutting in the creation station. It's just, you can get more colorful types of plastic, and it's just one of our more favorite things to do. At this point, I'm making a little circle that I'm going to put in the heart. That way I can make this into a keychain. So I got to make sure both the circle and the heart themselves are red lines, that way it'll cut out. And then right from CorelDRAW, all I'm doing is just hitting to print. And doing that is going to open up on the left screen this settings menu. Right now I am in the materials database, so I'm going to select which material I'm using, and it's going to give me the settings based on that. I can set the thickness of the material because that will change things. Then I just hit OK and click print, and it opens up the heart. You'll see the left screen just refreshed. Now I'm going to turn this machine on, and I want you to hear how loud it is. It's not super loud, but we do have headphones in the creation station in case it's ever too loud. And here's what it actually looks like in the machine. And the head has to move back and to the far right into that corner. So it's going to go right over there. That is called the home position. It has to home itself after every cut and whenever it turns on. Another thing I can do in the control panel over here is actually move the head around. So when I click over here, you'll see the head moves over there. And so that way I can move the head around on the bed. And if the piece of plastic that I'm working with is a certain size, I can try to get that head right over the specific part of the plastic I want it to be. This is particularly helpful when you've got odd shapes. I can also move the object that I'm cutting around on the control panel itself. Again, very helpful for trying to get something on a certain position. I can also move it directly to where I have my laser pointer, and it'll just move the piece right over there. Sometimes it's easier just to move it by hand. Another cool tool we have is the duplicate. I want to cut out one of these hearts, but if I wanted to give one to all of my friends, I could duplicate it, and it'll just automatically make a whole bunch of different ones for me. And I can click on them and get rid of them, which is especially helpful if I've got a whole sheet I want to cut, but there's a hole in the middle of that sheet. And then just to get rid of those, I click on them, or you can just take the duplicate back down to 1, and it'll just make it 1 again. I've also got this estimate view. The estimate view is going to show us how long this will take to cut. So it's a very small, very simple piece. So I'm going to click this button, and it says it's about 14 seconds. I know it's a bit too small to read, but it's going to be really quick. Now, one thing I forgot are these weights. We're actually going to put these weights underneath the plastic to lift the plastic up from the bed slightly, and you'll see why I do that when I start cutting. But because I did that, I got to reposition my laser right over my plastic, and it's less easy to move the plastic at this point. So a few more things to do. Next is to focus the laser. I've got this tool here, which will actually put between the plastic and my laser head. I have to get it at a specific distance away from the material I'm cutting. So there's this button here at the bottom of the machine that lets me move the bed down. And I'm trying to get this line that is on this tool here to line up with the bottom of that head. So I'm going to move the bed down some more. Okay, now I feel that it wiggles properly. I'm trying to get that line to hit right at the bottom of the head. So I'll move the bed back up until I see it touch. And it feels perfect as well. So that's it for that. So now all I need to do is close the door and turn on the exhaust fan. The exhaust fan is extremely important. It's this button on the back here. You always have to turn it on before you go. So I'll let you hear a little bit of how loud this is as well as we watch the laser cut out our plastic piece. You also see those fires sparking up at the back there. That's completely normal for our laser. And it would be a bit worse if the plastic was sitting right on the bed. So that's why I left it up. And it just cut out. It was super fast. So this is what it looks like when it's done. I have peeled the sticker off of one side, but I'm going to peel the sticker off of the other side. Most plastic sheets that you buy like this are going to have the sticker. That's to protect the plastic so it doesn't scratch. You can either peel it off before or after. I usually do it after. So just peel that right off. And it's a solid red on both sides, and it's got the little hole to dangle as a keychain. Super easy and quick to do. Now this is rastering on wood. So you can see the wood sitting straight on the bed, and I've actually got the weight on top of the wood to help make it flat on the bed. And the raster, you can see the laser heads going just back and forth, burning that image right into the wood. Now because the object I chose was fairly small, this image is kind of hard to see. And after it burns it, cuts it out. And now I've got this perfect little token that I can use for a D&D game or anything else I want to use it for. It's a little hard to see because I can't get it too close to the camera, but it's actually kind of got a three-dimensional effect with the texturing there. You can feel it when you touch it. This is what the setup looks like if you come into the creation station. We've got the posters on the wall behind there that give some additional instruction for how to use the laser cutter. The poster on the left there has a list of different materials you cannot cut on the laser cutter. This is because most of them create harmful gases when they're burned. So anytime someone wants to come in and use our laser cutter, we always double check and make sure we know what they're cutting. The one on the right there has a list of the steps to go through. So I kind of sped through it here. And of course, if you want to come in and use our laser cutter, you do have to take a class once the library is open again. But this demo is more to just show you what you'll be learning in the class. We go into a lot more detail during the actual class. But it is still a lot of detail, and so this poster has a quick step-by-step to make sure people focus the laser and turn on the exhaust fan. Now, our laser, like I mentioned, does wood and acrylic, and sometimes acrylic can be kind of hard to find. You might not realize where you can go to get that. We always recommend Delby's Plastics. They are an online supplier of acrylic sheets and different acrylic plastic pieces that can be used for different projects. We're not directly affiliated with them, but they're one of our favorite suppliers. We get a lot of our class materials from them. So we have catalogs at the Creation Station that you can look at to see what they carry and what you might want to buy from them. But you can also go to Home Depot's or any other local hardware store, and they usually will sell acrylic sheets in their windows and door section. These are used a lot for the small windows that they put indoors that they don't want to put heavy glass in, so they use the thinner plastic. The hardware stores will usually also carry these for a pretty decent price. They usually only carry the clear stuff in stores, but sometimes if you go onto their websites, you'll see they also carry the different colored plastics as well. So that's it for our demonstration. We'll be doing a bunch of more videos next week and in the following weeks to show different tools that we have in the Creation Station and different things that you can do at home. You can follow us on our blog that is new. I'll have a link in the comments to this post. We got a bunch of different stuff going on our blog, as well as the videos that we are posting regularly on our Facebook. If you have any questions, please let us know and we'll try to answer them right away. And if there's anything in particular you want us to show off or to show you how to do, we're super interested in doing that. We'd love to have any suggestions or advice from you guys. And also, we'd love to see what you guys are doing during this time. So if you have pictures or videos of your own, please feel free to share them with us. And if you would like us to share them on our Facebook, let us know and we can do that. But I hope everyone's staying safe and well, and we will see you next Monday.